Hello and welcome to the post-credit show. My name is Nick and I am here today helping myself to talk about games I've played, movies I've watched, and other assorted nerd junk that I have done over the last week. Normally there are more people here with me to talk about the stuff that we've been doing, but due to circumstances beyond our controls, it's just me. I'm here to talk to you guys about some games I've been playing, some movies I've been watching, okay, some stuff I've been doing. So, with that, I'm kind of turning this into more of a review-centric episode where I'm just going to talk about what I've been playing, why I've been playing it, what I've been thinking about it, problems I've been having with it, things I've been liking about it, that kind of stuff. So here we are to talk about movies we've watched and games we've played. So, first off, we're going to go with movies because I've watched a total of one. I'm hoping to see Wreck-It Ralph this weekend, but I haven't seen that one yet. So sorry if that's what you were expecting. I'm going really, really old school, and I watched this one almost in honor of, pretty much in honor of Stan Lee. Mallrats, the Kevin Smith film from ages and ages and ages ago. It's a pretty stand-up movie with a lot of people in it. Ben Affleck, Jason Lee, obviously Jay and Silent Bob, so Jason Mewes and Kevin Smith. And a bevy of other people. Shannon Doherty's in it, and other names are escaping me. It's a solid teen film. The funniest part about it, after watching it again, is the way that people speak. Is even your dumbest characters can have some of the most eloquent lines ever spoken. Not even in just film, but in real life. Honestly, if someone spoke to me that way in real life, I would be absolutely astounded if someone did. Just, you know, the way that some of them are having these intellectual conversations. Even you have the tired nerd who just sits there playing his Sega Genesis, again, older movie, and he's playing his Sega Genesis and reading his comic books, but then he'll have this giant conversation about, you know, what is life and what is this, and, you know, why are people, you know, doing the things that they're doing, you know, with their lives and that kind of stuff. It's quite the movie to watch. It's quite the film to be involved in and seeing and that kind of stuff. So really, it's one of those things that I'm intrigued by when it comes to, honestly, just people, the dialogue they have and the things that go on, and you have this almost real story of, you know, these people who have broken up, two couples who have broken up, in fact, and to, you know, kind of get over it, two of them go to the mall, because that's what you do. You go to the mall. So you have this story of people who have broken up and that kind of stuff going on, and then on the flip side of it, you have Jay and Silent Bob, who are legitimately just trying to create havoc, and in a very comic way. The sound effects to what their hijinks are is, you know, quite entertaining. At one point, there's a security guard that they're trying to get by, and the plan is to smack the guard over the head with a sock full of quarters, while the other one goes and hits something to destroy a stage. And the ensuing chaos of it all is very comedic. Meanwhile, again, you have these almost philosophical type conversations going on the other side of things about relationships and how people should act and how people should be and what people are doing with their lives and all this other stuff. It's very interesting. It's a very interesting view, obviously, into the mind of early Kevin Smith as he worked in his writing. Obviously, the jock character, played by Ben Affleck, is very jock-like. He's against the nerd character. You know, he's the guy who's going to be stronger and better fit to you know, take this girl and, you know, do things. All in all, though, stand-up flick. And Stan Lee, this was one of his first major motion picture roles. So before all those cameos you've seen him in the MCU, he was in this film because, again, our main character, played by Jason Lee, is a huge comic book fan, and at one point in the movie, he wonders why he can't get into his comic book store in the mall. And you find out that Stan Lee is signing comic books, and he can't get in. He actually gets kicked out of the line and banned from the comic book store. And so you kind of go, oh, that's cute. He's never going to see Stan Lee, but we threw the name in just to make sure that, you know he's there. And then he happenstancely has to be standing somewhere, and Stanley comes and talks to him and gives him relationship advice and has a couple other little, scenes in the film that are quite cute. But he actually gets like quite a long, almost monologue of, true love and this and that and everything else. And it's a whole pile of bull because if um, Stanley pretty much proposed to his wife, and, she subsequently, they got married like, I think 2 weeks after dating, and they were together for a ton of years. And his story in Mallrats is how, he let the one girl get away and he always thinks about her and all of that stuff. Oh? Oh, thank God. I just give good advice and the whole thing blows up. Okay, my advice was this. If you're playing Heroes of the Storm, be a courteous person. Don't be a jerk. I'll be more welcome to listen to you if that's what you're doing. Be a courteous guy. I'll listen to you, and maybe we'll actually win a game. Next up, I'm going to talk about some more games. Tony and Brian and I tried out yesterday, Friday the 13th, on the PlayStation 4. Boy, howdy, what a mess that is. So, either way, we finally booted up Heroes of the Storm, or not Heroes of the Friday the 13th on our PlayStations. We were going to play some Battlefront 2, but thanks, Pancake. But Brian hadn't installed it yet, and it was a pretty big install, so we couldn't get that one down. So we played some Friday the 13th, and we waited in the queues for a large portion of the night, and every once in a while the queues would pop, and the three of us would be the only people in the game. It was not the greatest experience, and from what I understand from going to the subreddit and all that stuff, is that Friday the 13th is having a lot of issues after its last update for finding matchmaking and that kind of stuff. So it's very unfortunate that that's the case, because Brian and I did have a lot of fun with it on the PC, and when we did get into games yesterday, we were having fun. That was part of it. We were having fun yesterday playing the games when we got into them. It just happened to be that we weren't getting a lot of games, or it was taking us 5 minutes to get into a game. So yeah, whoever is now in charge of Friday the 13th, one little hot fix to maybe get those queues working a little bit better and finding people. And I'm not sure if it's just the player base is sunk that low that, you know, it takes that long to find a game. But from what I understand on the subreddit, it has been since the last patch that it's been harder and harder to find a quick match game, like a dedicated server to play on. So that sucks, because we did have fun. So there is that. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to take a quick break. I'll be right back. And I'm back. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. I had a one of them phone call thingies that's kind of important to take. And seeing as how I'm all alone, I just had to press a button that said standby. So I apologize for that. Either way, Friday the 13th on the PlayStation 4 is a fun game if you can actually find a game. Look at that. Quick reviews as we go along. Next up, NHL 18. I've been playing this game. I've kind of been updating these guys as to what I've been doing with the game, so I'm going to update you guys as to what happened. I finally got drafted in the NHL. I ended up on the the Toronto Maple Leafs team. So I restarted. I'm just kidding. It's not because I ended up on Toronto. It's because I ended up on Toronto with really bad stats, because I ended up injured for a good portion of the season. So this time I've restarted a character. I've created a completely different... I'm a power forward now, so if you're into the NHL games, I'm a power forward instead of a sniper. So far doing much, much better in this season. Back to the Western Hockey League. Playing for the Oil Kings now instead of the Sarnia Stings. Hopefully this time not getting drafted to the Toronto Maple Leafs. If you're a Toronto Maple Leafs fan, you better be from Toronto, and you know why. Alright, so that's just my quick NHL update. Next up, Pokemon Let's Go Eevee. I've been playing. I've now beaten the 4th gym and also finished Lavender Town. It's an interesting game, so that's what I'll say with this one. It is a game where I'm sometimes having fun with the catching mechanic and the combos and building that kind of stuff up. I'm sometimes having fun with, you know, the creatures that are appearing and the things that are happening. I am sometimes having fun with, you know, certain things. I am loving the cinematic type experience I'm getting from this game. Once you climb to the top of Lavender Town, the tower, you'll see what I mean. It is amazing to see what they can do with the 3D models and the graphics and the power of the Switch. They can actually do some real hardcore storytelling, which is awesome in a Pokemon game. Like I say, if the next game in 2019 is close to the look and feel of this game, I will be stupendously happy, from Game Freak and the Pokemon Company. Along with that, though, like I say, I think catching the Pokemon, like I went on a streak of trying to catch Ghastlies, and finally I had one run away from me after I threw one Pokeball. It went away, and all of a sudden my combo of 40 something was dead. It's disheartening when that happens, but at the same time it moves you forward because you're like, I am now done with catching these things. So I've yet to catch a shiny. It's making me sad. I have a feeling I've got a plan, though. I know what I'm going to go do. I'm going to go have some fun and kind of mess around, because my Eevee now knows how to fly. It's the weirdest part of the entire game, is that they teach Eevee all of the secret techniques. They are not actually HMs anymore, which is delightful, but yeah, Eevee knows how to fly, which is a little weird. The mechanic for it's cute. He also knows how to cut trees, and eventually I believe he'll learn how to swim. He can use the light up technique, so it's not flash, but it's light up. You never have to worry about going into a rock tunnel or a dark tunnel ever again and not being able to see, because Eevee just lights up the way. It's totally awesome. So, Pokemon Let's Go Eevee, great game. Lots of fun. The leveling, it's a simpler game. You can level your Pokemon quite easily by building up these combos and just catching Pokemon, going that way and doing those kinds of things, which is meh, but overall, it's a good experience. I'm having fun. It's a gorgeous game. If you're on the fence about a Pokemon game because you're like, it's not the one that I want, it's a pretty solid game. Brian and I also traded Pokemon from his house to my house, and we got our Kadabras and our Golems and all of that stuff by trading from far away, so that part was nice too. The animation for those is very old school, almost Link Cable-esque. Just a fun experience overall with Pokemon Let's Go. Last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to talk to you guys about Madden 19. Brian and I picked it up over the last week to play Madden 19. Boy, howdy, is it a complicated game. I realize football is all about strategy and, what you're doing here and there and everywhere with that kind of stuff, but holy smokes, I'm glad I have Brian to play with, because playing against him is at least fun. Playing against the computer is quite difficult for me. Maybe it's because I don't understand NFL football the way that, other people do, but boy howdy, it is a complicated and complex game, and I need a lot more practice with it before I can really make any other assumptions. It's a gorgeous looking game. You can see the field kind of getting torn up. You can see all of the grass stains and stuff on the players. The players themselves look pretty good. We played a game in the snow yesterday, so the coaches looked a little silly, and the fans in the crowd looked a little silly, because the fans in the crowd were still in t-shirts, as opposed to some of them were in coats and toques, and other ones were in t-shirts, and you're going, doesn't quite make sense. We're from a very northern city. We have a big football game, the Grey Cup, going on for the CFL here in the city today, and thankfully it's a nice day. But we've played Grey Cup games in, really cold weather before. And if there's snow on the ground where we're from, it's usually pretty cold. So for us to look at this game, see snow on the ground and people in t-shirts, a lot of people in t-shirts. There's usually 2 crazy people or 3 crazy people. But the amount of people in t-shirts was crazy, unless there were personal heaters in every single one of those seats. Playing the game is intuitive enough. They help you out. The coaches can call plays for you, which is nice. You don't have to really think too hard about a lot of those things. And again, playing against Brian, it helps because, we're both quite novice at it. It's not like he's sitting there picking plays that he knows are going to beat me every single time. We're both going off of coach suggestions and that kind of stuff. So it's a fun game. I just have to get much better at it. If you want to, though, it is on sale right now with the Black Friday sales on the PlayStation, so you can check that out and maybe even play with us at some point. Either way, ladies and gentlemen, that is legitimately all I have been doing for gaming and movies over the past week. Join me next week with hopefully more people from our Barrel Roll News, Entourage and Cast and whatnot, our crew. where we talk about games we've played, movies we've watched. If you didn't see it, check out the newscast. It's where we talk about news and movie stuff from the last week. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to sign off. I'm going to leave you, but I'm going to tell you this. Stay tuned in the coming weeks for our past cast, where we talk about the best of the year and our future thoughts on the year of 2019. So the best video games, the best movies. We're going to talk about all our favorites from the last year. We're going to talk about some of our upcoming thoughts and hopes for 2019. If you have any suggestions that you'd like us to talk about, leave them in the comments. Check out our Discord, okay? Post some stuff there so we know what you guys want us to talk about on our past cast coming up in the next month, obviously, as December's the last month of the year. I know, crazy thought process. But I hope you enjoyed what you saw today. If you did, like and subscribe. Share with your friends. Tell everybody you know about us. We want you guys to talk with us. We want to hang with you guys. So totally check us out. You can check us out on our Discord. You can check us out on YouTube. You can check everything out, actually, by going to barrelrollnews.com. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great and amazing weekend. Bye.